Alrighty, let's get into this video. So the MCU will introduce its own versions of Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Alrighty, people. So let's talk, right? So the last video I made when they said something about Doc Ock and Green Goblin, I thought that they was gonna do a dumbass idea, like try to bring back William Dafoe and God, I forget this man's name, but he's wonderful. That played Doc Ock. And I said that'd be a dumbass idea because what was the point of having them come through a portal and be in our universe just for him to cure them and then send them back to the universe on a happy note and the other two Spider-Man help him and that's like a peaceful send-off. And I said that'd be a dumbass idea, but thank God. Now, if you watch my Thunderbolt video I made, I said that they planned on doing like a so I think it's stupid, but I get why, because nobody knows the Thunderbolts, kind of like they just like the Suicide Squad, and so why would you make a Thunderbolt movie that nobody wants to watch and nobody asks for? And I can see why that would be kind of cool to be able to jump from a Thunderbolt story to a Dark Avengers story, which would be really cool. But like I said, if you watch my Thunderbolt video, I explained that the Dark Avengers ain't got shit to do with the Thunderbolts, and whoever they have on that Thunderbolt team, like I don't know how they tie into the Dark Avengers because they ain't got nothing to do. Like they ain't got nothing to do. They ain't got nothing to do with anybody on that team. Nobody on here is a Dark Avenger. None of them. But what isn't interesting about this, if you set up a Norman Osborn and you set up Oscorp, you can literally, like, he's a rich white man. He's powerful with money. He can take over Stark Industry, that big ass Stark building in New York. You just change the sign and put Oscorp, because Pepper don't got shit to do with the Avengers. She pulled out of the Avengers. She pulled out away from Spider-Man and Peter Parker. That was Tony's shit. She worried about her. She protecting the Stark legacy and her daughter. That's all the fuck she worried about. She ain't gonna fuck about nothing else. And rightfully so. Peter fucked that up because he's a fucking idiot. Tom Holland, Peter, he's an idiot. But the thing about this idea is I get what they're trying to do because they want to go for the big booty budget. They want to go for the big booty budget. And you go for the big booty budget by doing big booty stories. And so Tom Holland is going to really get the full Spider-Man effect because Spider-Man deals with multiple enemies at a time, whether in the same day or the same week. Like, he deals with a lot of enemies. So what I know for a fact is Daredevil is going to be helping him in this movie. They're going to team up to take out Kingpin. And so I think that's actually a really cool storyline for him to have a Kingpin situation that he got to deal with. And then on top of that, dealing with Kingpin, now you got to deal with the Green Goblin and Doc Ock. But the only thing that I'll say is I think they're trying to bite off more than they can chew. Because, Green Goblin's very popular and Doc Ock's very popular, and they're both formidable, like probably some of Spider-Man's worst villains away from, like, Spider-Man got a couple though. Like, Venom sometimes a villain, sometimes, Carnage, but like, Craven, but Doc Ock and Green Goblin and Kingpin it's personal. It's really personal between them, because Kingpin just an asshole. You get annoyed at that motherfucker, bro. Seriously. But I just feel like they trying to bite off more than they can chew, because one of the reasons that made Tobey Maguire's the first Spider-Man is so good was you got a whole movie to set up why the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn just went fucking crazy, and why the Green Goblin was such a formidable foe on Spider-Man. And then definitely Spider-Man 2, which if you ask me still top, like probably the number one Spider-Man movie for me, live action and animated, because of how personal it got between Peter and Doc Ock, because Doc Ock was his professor, and he just had an exceptional amount of respect for Doc Ock, and so for them to have to come to blows, and him knowing who he is without Doc Ock knowing who Peter is, it just built for a really great storyline. And so, like just his best villains, like, we're not gonna talk about Spider-Man 3, even though I did enjoy seeing the symbiote suit. But the dude who they cast to play Venom was terrible, but that's another conversation. And Venom is an MCU. But in comparison to like, we got two whole movies to watch Green Goblin develop and to watch Doc Ock develop. To now we're being introduced to new actors, so it's not gonna be Willem Dafoe, and it's not gonna be my man right here. And you're trying to tell me they're gonna try to squeeze a whole 2 to 3, 2 hour and a half movie, and you're trying to tell me you're going to establish that he got to deal with Kingpin, and you're going to establish a few other heroes that's going to help him, like Daredevil, and also you trying to tell me he got to deal with Doc Ock and Green Goblin? Because Green Goblin's going to come first, and then Doc Ock comes second. So, like I said, they might be trying to bite off more than they can chew, because you're not going to be able to just throw in both of these characters and make it compelling enough to where we see, like, why they're villains, and why, they have issues with Spider-Man, and why it would be important for us to care about the relationship. Now that because he's lost Ned and MJ, Zendaya, does this open up for him to meet Harry in college? Now we kind of start dabbling a little bit into the Spider-Man-ness, where he has Harry, and, maybe they do a reverse to where he meets like a Gwen Stacy, but that was really in high school when he met Gwen Stacy. But it's just like a lot of what's the story really gonna be, because yes, we like Doc Ock and we like Green Goblin, but one of the reasons we liked them so much is because we had a lot of movie and time to get to know these characters, instead of some half-ass rush thrown together movie to where, Green Goblin shit. Like, see, but the only thing I can say is that they could possibly get away with establishing that Norman Osborn was already there, and kind of like touch on the backstory of, how Peter got bit by that spider on a field trip, being at like an ops tech, or like an Osborn tech type of thing, event or something. And you can kind of explain like you don't have to do like a full origin story, but Norman Osborn was always there. He was kind of just in the cut, and you could just kind of like, this movie only works if Norman Osborn is Norman Osborn as a villain, and you don't really see him as a Green Goblin, but you see him doing villainous shit. And Doc Ock is the villain that you focus on, but Norman Osborn is just kind of like just walk around in the suit and kind of in the shadows, low key doing shit. That would make more sense than to just try to put together a whole story in 30 minutes. Because you only have 30 minutes to talk about this one and 30 minutes to talk about this one. You still got to talk about Kingpin. So, I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, bro. Do you agree that setting up Norman Osborn and Doc Ock in the MCU is a good thing? I think it is, because Norman Osborn leads the onslaught to beat the Super Skrulls in the Secret Invasion and Dark Avengers. But y'all let me